What's up, Wolfpack? Got another video. Sorry I didn't upload yesterday. Just wasn't in the mood. I got mogged, so didn't want them. But right now we got bicep curls. Gonna get this warm up out of the way, and then I do got some stuff I want to talk about. Oh, I forgot to say 22 and a half pounds on the table. Okay, that should be good. We'll move it up. Do 62 and a half pounds for now. I know I'm around there. All right, first thing, definitely wanted to talk about. So recently, I don't know how many of you people use Twitter, but there was a tweet by, I believe, RFK. It says Secretary Kennedy, and when I clicked on the profile, it said Robert Kennedy. So I'm gonna guess it's him. I could be wrong though. It was him hitting a leg press in Austin. I'll probably, I do want to do some editing and get that clip up as I was thinking of this point. But yeah, so hopefully you see the clip somewheres here. But a lot of people on Twitter are arguing that he had 0 reps because the range of motion was mid. And to all those people, I don't think all of them, really have a good understanding of range of motion. Like, I'm not saying it's the greatest range of motion of all time. I want to make that very, very clear. I don't think it's, you could look at the clip as long as I put it in there. But, like, he definitely could go lower. But, a lot of people are like, oh, no, that's 0 reps because you didn't go all the way down. It's still reps. He was doing it for, like, I don't know, 6 maybe? It's been like half an hour since I've seen the clip. But he did more than enough to where, even if you're going to be a stickler on range of motion, the amount of reps he did let's say they're half reps, because if you're, annoyed about the range of motion, all those half reps, they equal up to a full rep. His time under tension is about the same as like a 1 rep max. Probably a little more than that. But I think people are way too focused on the range of motion of the lift. And honestly, I think, a lot of people are hating on him because they don't like RFK. Like, I'm someone who is not a big fan of RFK. I think he's kind of ruining the health industry that we got. But, to the people who are hating on him because he's supposedly not doing any reps, I think they're taking your political anger out into what he does on just an average day. So, feel free to, criticize me for it. But at the end of the day, I think, a lot of these people are kind of just hating because they want to hate him, which I can understand, hating on him. I literally just said that I think he's, hurting the health industry, especially considering he thinks vaccines don't do nothing. But, like, I don't think, hating on what he says should correlate to people hating on him for not having a full range of motion. I think that's very idiotic. Take politics out of everything. Maybe just because you disagree with people in one way doesn't mean, you have to disagree with them in every way. At the end of the day, he still has time under tension. He's still, he's got a lot of weight on there. Considering for his age, I think it's a very positive thing. But that really annoyed me about how many people I've seen just say, like, oh, what an ego lifter. Like guys like 70, doing a good amount of weight. You know, I honestly couldn't tell you how many plates he had on each side. But I can tell you right now, it's more than what I see most people do here. And, you know, I think people aren't really, understanding how much he's doing. Like, I could, like, there's a lot of worse ego lifters out there if you're thinking of ego lifters. Like, most notorious is like, what's his name? El Campeon. The guy who's like repping out like 9 plates on back, all the momentum in the world. Now that's a guy I can understand why you call it 0 reps. But RFK, I don't think he's going that far. But yeah, that was a point I really wanted to make. Now I actually have nothing. So I'm gonna get this first set out of the way. First failure set, 62.5 pounds, like I said. Usually I don't think of stuff when I'm lifting, but maybe I'll think of something, and if so, hopefully it's something I can talk about. All right. Oh wait, forgot to do my little one line. Like as per usual, if we do more than 10 reps, we'll go up in weight. If not, we'll stick with this for the last set. Okay. Hopefully good. I don't think I did 10 there. So we're gonna, no big deal. I'll just stick with it for now. But I'll be real. I didn't think of anything. Like I said, I don't really think much when I'm mid set. I'm more focused on getting the weight up. But yeah. Let me think of some things real quick. I'm gonna do a little pause. You guys will get to see it here. Oh. So, today I'll be real. I'm in I would say a better mood than I have been for the past couple days. And, I think, like, today especially has been a lot of proof that, like seasonal depression is real. I'm not saying I was depressed, like, 2 or 3-ish days ago, where I was, a little bit. I feel like I was just in like a worse mood. Don't think I was the best, but like the Monday where I was talking about how I had an amazing day, even with the awful start. Like that was probably one of the first days in like a few weeks where the weather was that good, maybe even months. And weather kind of fell off for a little bit, but today's been like the first good day since then. And once again, I have an amazing mood. I was able to wear my tank pretty much everywhere. I think some people might call me a douche for wearing this tank, but I like it. And I was in an amazing mood. Amazing mood. Wearing it, walking around. A bunch of albums dropped actually, which I think also, kind of, helped out with my mood. Especially this JVB album. Not sure if you guys would see it, but this is awesome. Love it. Hyper Youth. Amazing album. You know, I I think I tried using one of their songs at one point for the YouTube shorts that I made for like 5 days, and you know, I think I got copyrighted by them, which I don't think I ended up using it by the end. But no, I absolutely recommend them. You should definitely check them out. For one of the assignments I got to do for a writing seminar, I got to do a review of some media. Right now, I'm doing "Let's Start Here" by Lil Yachty, but like I've really been considering emailing the professor to see if I could do Hyper Youth instead. I feel like I've been listening to this a lot, especially with the deluxe. But I don't know. I'm a big Let's Start Here enjoyer. I think, it's in my opinion, it's Yachty's best album. But I feel like I only go back to certain songs that I'm not like. I feel like maybe 2023 or 2024, I was very much like I'll listen to album start to finish. But I feel like now I'm very sporadic with an album, which I don't think really, gives me the best opportunity to write like a good review on an album. And the first time I ever listened to this album was in 2023, I think, maybe 2024. I don't know, but it was around that time where I was a avid album listener, and I at least have a general idea of what to say and what I need to talk about. But I feel like just because I'm a lot more sporadic with it now than I was before, and how Hyper Youth, I'm a lot more like I'll listen to this start to finish. I mean, as of right now, I'm not, but like that's a different story. I'm trying to hype myself up right now. I'm not trying to listen to all the sad songs on the album, but you know, I think I'm a lot more. It's a lot easier for me to listen to Hyper Youth start to finish than it is for me to listen to Let's Start Here start to finish. Just because I'd say it's a bit more of an. I mean, it is a newer album, and I think I've kind of I have. I don't really know how to word this well, I guess. I think I have a lot more appeal to the album experience of Hyper Youth than I do Let's Start Here, because I kind of dried myself out of Let's Start Here, even though I go back to those songs all the time. Like We Saw the Sun, uh, greatest Yachty song ever. You know, maybe that's a hot take, maybe it's not. I don't really care if it is, but I doubt Lil Yachty will ever see this. But if he does, make more songs like We Saw the Sun. Amazing song. You know, out of everything I recommend, or out of any song I'd recommend as of right now, it would be We Saw the Sun. That's the reason why I did want to do Let's Start Here. Also, before I go into this last set, I do want to make a quick note to the professor who does my writing seminar. Doing a really good job. I really thought I was going to hate that class, but I'm actually enjoying it, even though I still hate writing. It's not changing anything that in that region, but I think the professor really makes up for the class. So good on the professor. I'll give my kudos, because every once in a while I'll get an email saying they gave me kudos. So I'll give my kudos back. Anyways, I'm gonna get this last set out of the way. Still 67.5 pounds, or wait, 62.5 pounds. I'll be shocked if I get 10, but if I get 10, we'll go up to 67.5 pounds next time. And then I'll turn back on the camera when the next exercise is ready. All right. No. Ow. Man, every time I go to failure on there, my forearms are kill me after. Anyways, I'll turn back on the camera when I got the next set ready, and I'll see you guys then. All right, what's up, Wolfpack? We got the second recorded lift of the day. Got leg extension. If you guys watched the last time I did leg extension, you guys know that I obviously maxed it out last time for, I want to say 6 to 8-ish reps. So we're gonna stick with that for now. If you guys think I should switch as I'm kind of nearing the end of this thing, let me know, because I can't really go up anymore in terms of weight. I could do it in reps, which is kind of my hope. But if you guys think I need to, stay consistent and keep up with like a weight progress, let me know and I'll do it. I'll probably switch to leg press, which I could show you guys my form in case you guys don't think I hit proper range of motion. No, going back to the RFK stuff there. I'm not going to talk about that any further though. I think I already gave out what I wanted to say. Anyways, I'm going to get this first warm-up set out of the way. We got... Actually going to move that up just a tad. Had it on 40. I'll do 70. 70 for the warm-up set. Do however many I feel like, and then we'll go into the first failure set. All right. Okay. I think that was actually one of my more quicker warm-up sets. Oh, shoot. I'm going to be real. I thought this went up a lot higher than I thought. So, fun fact, there's actually a second leg extension here that I used to work on, but I don't really like where it's placed in the gym. I think this one's a little bit more secluded. It allows me to, not take up too much space. But there is another one, and I'm pretty sure it goes higher base weight than the one I'm currently on right now. So, maybe I'm not going to change it right now, but, maybe Monday when I record again, maybe I'll be on that one instead. We'll see. I'm going to probably take a look after I'm done with this for now. Just to, I'm not going to do it and then just, let's say I do it on Monday. Turns out it's actually the same weight. I'm not trying to, do my lift on there. Because like I said, this one, it's a little bit more secluded. It allows me to, not be as much of a nuisance. Because I know a lot of people, I think a lot of people will see a camera and kind of think a little negatively at first. And, I think a lot of that came from like a stereotype that, gym influencers are just dicks, I mean, some of them definitely are. I'm not going to say they're not, but, I try to keep it, keep a level head. I am someone who kind of pushes being egotistical, but at the end of the day, other people lifting is a lot more important than me filming a video. So if, let's say it ever were to be a situation where, let's say someone walked in front of my camera, I'm going to follow the Joey Swole way and, just move on. It's not like I need this shot to be perfect. It's very, very unlikely that everything you do in life will be perfect. And, I think a lot of us actually try to make stuff perfect, but, especially me, I would say I'm not like the biggest perfectionist in the world, but especially when it comes to like, I get in my head so much that I kind of become a perfectionist, I should say. When it's stuff that I'm not thinking about, not a perfectionist in the slightest, but when I kind of get in my head, then I think I really, the perfectionist me comes out. So, but I went on a little bit of a tangent there. At the end of the day, main goal is for me to promote, this kind of healthier way of living. You don't have to spend, the amount of time that I'm spending in the gym. I'm spending, honestly, 2.5 hours at this point. Um, Especially now with me recording and me going to failure, I'm kind of taking a lot longer on my recovery than usual. Or well, not really or well, it is recovery, but it's more like just my rest periods, not like a day off. I'm not like hitting one set then day next. But that's besides the point. Once again, um, you know. But even if you go to the gym, or you don't even need to go to the gym, just be active. You know, for the longest time, um, I was very unactive. I would sit in my room, play games all day, and I had a bunch of friends come up and ask me, "Hey, you want to come to the gym with me?" You know, and I turned them down because I mean I do have the home gym and I would use that as an excuse even though I'd never hit it. And you know, I wish I said yes sooner. I feel like I would have loved this even more. Or well, maybe not that. I feel like I would have, I would be in a much better place physically right now than I am, and maybe I would be locked in on my diet. But that's a lot more just like a nuanced thing, I'd say. I don't think me starting earlier would directly correlate to that. So you know, but be active. Do something. If you got friends, go try and be active with your friends. It makes it really easy, especially if you're having a fun time doing it. I think I'm very fortunate to have, you know, my great friend Brody. You guys know him by now, but I'm very fortunate to have him. Very fortunate that he offered to bring me, which I actually did turn him down the first time. I'm not sure if I've talked about this before, but I did turn him down. Same excuse that I gave every time. But I had asked Brody, still got me in. Had had an amazing day at the gym. Got my leg press all-time PR, which is fun. But I probably could go more now. Like I'm repping out 200 pounds less than my max. Because my max is 831, I believe. Because the Planet Fitness angled leg press, uh, the base weight's 136, and then we put on however many plates, maybe some 25s. I honestly forgot how many plates. It's been so long. But yeah, 831 is my all-time PR on leg press. I tried going for another PR at one point, failed it. I think I tried going for 1,000 pounds, and it was a really funny story because we ran out of plates that were around the leg press, so we started asking a bunch of people, and eventually people started watching me, and I just failed it like crazy. Not the most embarrassing moment I've had at the gym, but definitely if it's like, at the time it was very embarrassing, especially because I was like, oh, this should be a light. Like I was being really egotistical. Yeah. But yeah, you know, and end goal of what I'm trying to say here is just be active. Find a way to be active, whether it's the 10-minute workouts that you look up on YouTube, or your hour of cardio, even in like 10 minutes of walking around your neighborhood. Whatever you could do, it's much better than just sitting around doing a whole load of nothing. Especially if you're doom scrolling. Don't do that. Uh, you know, Short form has really kind of ruined our stuff, or ruined our brains, in my opinion. I think, not sure if this is true, but I did see something saying that there's a study that said viewing or heavy use of short form content, which my YouTube shorts would fall under that. You know, it it lowers like your frontal lobe like activity. I think it was worded a little differently on the post that I saw, but it's similar to that. Didn't look too far into it and see if it's real or not, but I've seen a lot of things saying that you really shouldn't be viewing short form content, and maybe that's just bias at this point. But I think the amount of stuff I'm hearing, you should at least be wary about it. I've recently put 15 minutes max on both my Instagram Reel usage and my YouTube Short usage, uh, just to kind of make sure that I'm not spending too much time. And I recommend you do the same thing if you're worried about your health in a sense like that. But it's your life. You do what you want to do. If you're like, no, I love short form content, I can't stand this content. First of all, I think you're lying if you made it this far and you're hearing this. But if you really are just like, oh no, short form's the way, man. You do what you want to do. But if you're a little bit more health conscious, I would suggest, doing what I did and put a little limit on your stuff. Anyways, I think I went on a big talk there. I haven't even done a first failure set, so I'm gonna get this first out of the way. We got 260 on the machine, maxing it out. I would say if we get 10, I'll go up in weight, but obviously I'm maxing it out, so I can't do that. So we'll just go for however many I feel like, or not however many I feel like. We'll go until I can't go no more, and then we'll do that again. All right. Man, there's a massive jump between me doing 235 and 250. Like, I could barely do. I think I only did 5 or 6 there, so it's not looking good. But I need to think of more stuff to talk about. Oh, actually, I got something. So today, I've seen a bunch of stuff about Malibu Fitness, the guy who's blown up, for being an overall positive guy, doing his thing, kind of, I think he's still a very, very good person, but, I saw some stuff saying like the IED to the face, stuff that he had in his bio was false, and then he admitted to it. I saw the Instagram reel that he made, so maybe I'm hypocritical, but I wouldn't consider that heavy use. But that's besides the point. He came out, said, yeah, it wasn't true. I still think if you're kind of using it to kind of be like, oh, he's not a good creator because he didn't survive the IED. I think you're being a little ignorant. He explained it himself. He was getting a lot of hate for how he looks, and I think he put it there out of insecurity, which I think is very understandable. It's not the best thing in the world. It's much better that he didn't put it there. But I think he kind of understood that that he was in the wrong. He took it out at some point as he was blown up. But if you're using this as a way to be like, oh, I can't watch this guy no more, I think you're going a little too far. And I think I still think he's still a very good person in the industry. I think he brings something that I think a lot of us need to start having, and that's a little bit more positivity. So I think it's great for him. I think it was a very sincere apology. I've heard some stuff saying that he's been anxious and like all these different mental health things that he's been dealing with since he's been exposed. So hopefully he gets through it well, mental health is a serious thing. You know, I think overall he's still very positive, and I'll still support him as much as I do. I think like I said, I really think he is a good part of the community, and I think he brings something new that a lot of people need, and that's a lot more positivity in their life. I think as a world, we're a little bit more pessimistic than we are optimistic, and I think that's kind of just given us a really negative outlook on our lives. So be a little bit more positive. You know, go to the Malibu Fitness Way, show your gym etiquette. You know, so good on that dude. Um, Recommend you watch him if you are looking for some more positive gym content. And then last thing before I get into this last set here, if you guys have stuff that you want me to talk about, my mom did actually recommend me a video idea, so I'll do that at some point. But I'm probably gonna do it after this series because I don't think it's a video that I could really sit down and go to the gym and make it. But if you guys have any topics you'd like me to discuss, any questions about my life, about me, any questions about stuff going on in your life, or stuff that you want to talk about, send it to me in any way you want to. I could really, preferably not my business email though. I want to make that very clear. I'm really, I'm the one running my business email, and I do not want to deal with with a bunch of I don't want to deal with my business email blowing up with like no subject question. I'm not really trying to deal with that, but if that's the only way you're willing to do it, I'd rather you do it than not at all. So, I'm not saying don't do it at all, but if you could do it any other way, it'd be much better. And maybe I'll shout you out if it's like a YouTube comment or Instagram DM. Anyways, I'm gonna get this last set done, and then I'll do at least one more exercise recorded. Obviously, I got a lot more left of the lift to be, anyways. But still 260 on the leg extension. We'll do however many I can, and then I'll turn back on the camera when I'm ready. All right. No. Man. Really humbling. Anyways, I'll turn back on the camera when I got another one ready, and I'll see you guys then. All right, what's up, Wolfpack? We got last exercise of the lift for me and the last recorded. We got tricep press down. I was just doing, my last forearm, and my knuckles triggering blood, but not sure if you can see them, but they're cut up so badly that it was painful to hit them. So I'm expecting a very similar thing for these, considering my hand's kind of going to be in the same kind of motion. Just now I'm extending my arm completely rather than just my forearm. So shit might be painful, but it's okay. This is for science. So I got to do it. Still gonna push myself. It's not like I'm gonna stop because my cuts are hurting. It's a lot more of an issue if it was like a similar to like my bicep, where I felt something weird at it, where I feel like I could have injured myself. It's not really an injury, or it's not like I could injure myself further. I think maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I am gonna get this first warm-up set out of the way. 32-ish, or 32 and a half pounds on the cable. Go for however many I feel like, and then we'll go from there. All right, I think that's good for now. We'll move it up. All right, we'll do 72 and a half for the first failure set. See how that is. I'll be real. I don't know how, you know, if I'll be able to do this. I feel like I've done this in the past, though. I've low-key forgotten. I know I'm around this range, though. Whew. You guys will be hearing the 10 p.m. warning sometime soon. It's 5 minutes of 10, so or 5 minutes from 10, something like that. I don't know. Maybe I said that right. Maybe I didn't. You'll understand what I'm saying in a few. But yeah, you guys will hear that at some point. No, I really do like these late night lifts. I think, best thing is probably, you know, uh, I mean, today mainly, like this entire week's been a little different, but especially today, it's been very open. Haven't really had to worry about not being able to get a exercise in. So overall positive thing, and happy with that. I like the people who are here late. I get to see a lot of the people I am in class with. So I at least get to see some people I'm familiar with. So overall, really happy. I kind of switched to going a little later, even though I would say it's a little bit more of a nuisance for me because I have like a 6-hour period between my last class and my lift. Usually it's more like an hour difference from my last class to my lift. But, I'd much rather have, my the workouts I'm trying to do be more likely to be open than me worry about, converting or, managing my time, differently, I guess. But I will say my sleep has taken a slight, slight toll, I'd say. Like nothing crazy. I'm still getting 7 hours minimum, but like I was usually getting 8 hours minimum. Or actually, I don't know. My roommate's alarm. I'm the one waking up to it, and it's usually at like 5:30, and I'm usually going to bed at like 10. So, I go to bed at 10, but I don't really fall asleep until like 11:30, I'd say. So maybe bump down that minimum to like 6 hours. But recently I've either just been sleeping through the alarm or he turned off the alarm. I don't know. But I have been getting, around the recommended amount of sleep. I'm not saying my sleep is perfect, but I'm also not saying my sleep is like I'm only getting 4 hours would be a little rough for me. I think I would probably just take my losses of trying to keep or you know of trying to get my or have most of my machines open, or not mine, but most of my exercises open for when I want to do them. But you know, luckily I'm still in the good. But you know, oh actually, yesterday I did my housing stuff for next year when I come back. I did have to go on the wait list for all the dorms that I did want, but good news, I'm in a pretty good position on all those wait lists. And supposedly, the wait list is very sporadic. So, good chance I'm no longer going to have to, be in a double. Maybe I'll do a bit more dorms content stuff. Maybe I'll make a second Terraria video. Maybe I'll go back to Twitch streaming. No, actually, and one more thing before I get into this last set, because this just reminded me. Next week, or today, next week, will be the last, or the day of spring break. So expect a home gym video. They're coming back for about a week because I'm not going to have a way to get to Planet Fitness where I would normally lift. So, actually, now I need to think about that. Because back when I was doing my home gym videos, I wasn't hitting all the lifts that I do normally. So, I don't know, maybe I'll get my mom, maybe if she's willing to support me, maybe she'll, I feel like that was condescending. I'm not trying to be condescending here, not trying to be like a guilt trip in a way, but rather, Mom, if you are willing to help, it would be greatly appreciated if either you let me drive to Planet Fitness and I do my lift there, or you drive me to Planet Fitness and I still do my lift. Because I'm pretty sure none of my friends who can drive will be out there or will be back. So, I know you're going to text me at some point. So, oh, you hear that? Told you. Yep. I know. But back to what I was saying. If you're willing to help me, let me know, Mom. If not, I'm just gonna have to, manage the thing or the home gyms videos, and then, I am gonna start working again during the 1 week period that I have back, trying to get my money up. Because if you guys know, if you've been watching since I basically came back here, you guys would know I'm very broke. I've talked about it in the past how I need to start making money in some ways. It's a struggle living on the amount of money. Luckily, my mom is supporting me. She has given me a few $100s. So, thank you, Mom, for the money. It's greatly appreciated. It's not like I'm, super, super broke like I was when I first had my tuition paid. Because back then I had, $12 to my name? $12. Now I got 200. So we're in the big leagues, if you ask me. But I used to be in the even bigger leagues. Anyways, I'm kind of going on a rant now. So I'm going to get this first set out of the way, 72.5 pounds. Like I said, go to failure. If we get more than 10, we'll go up in weight. If not, we'll stick with this for the last set, and then we'll go from there. All right. Man, I was so close to 10 right there. I counted 9. Maybe I actually did do 10, but I low-key lost count after 4. So, too bad we're sticking with the weight. But I was close to 10 right there. I would say that was 9.5. So, good on me for getting the weight right. Damn, I'm bleeding more. Trigger warning, blood again. I still don't know if you would see this or not on the camera, but we're bleeding more now. Knuckles are messed up. My mom's gonna, tell me to moisturize my hands. I'm probably gonna forget. So, it's fine though. Damn, I'm bleeding on the other hand too. Just crazy. Damn. It's fine. It's not like I'm dying. Well, I mean I am, but it's not, it's not like I'm not gonna bleed out from 2 tiny cuts. You know, I've had a lot worse, and I've been fine. So, you know, just brush it off. I gotta record a video for you guys, and I gotta do a lift. Also, let me know if you guys prefer me on this. I think the noise cancellation mode on the microphone. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of how the mic quality comes out time to time. I feel like I feel like you can hear me breathe a little much. like if I do a little blow, you guys probably just heard a big crackle there. You know, maybe I'll get the wind muff or whatever it's called. Put that on. I do have those. I don't like to use them because, you know, they feel weird, and it's low-key a pain in the ass to take them off. I was going to use them at one point for one video, but I was trying to take it off after I recorded an intro with it, and it was just a pain. Also, I got a bunch of the wind muff hairs all over my hand. You know, they're not the most stable, but you know, if I'm gonna hear this eventually when I'm recording, maybe, you know, I will be doing some editing, like I said, mainly in the first part. I don't know about these last 2 clips that I made, but at least in the first part, I'll show you guys the RFK video I'm talking about, and you know, probably something else that I talked about. I think there was something else I wanted to El Campione. I'm going to show you guys that guy. And maybe I'll show you Malibu Fitness just in case you guys don't know him. But besides that, I don't really know what else I'd show that I haven't shown already or would want to show. Man. You know, although today I've been in a much better mood than the past couple days, I would say probably the most tired I've been all week. I feel like this week in particular, I feel like I really haven't pushed myself to the fullest extent that I could. Like, I'm not saying I'm not at all. Like, you guys literally just saw me go to like actual failure there, you know. But I would say I could probably go a little harder on a lot more of the lifts I've been doing. But, you know, this is still better than what I was doing prior to me trying this out. So that's the thing. Also, I'm going to do the physique checks coming up for next month, because a week from now would be March 6th. It just reminded me, I got a lot of tests. I got 3 tests, 2 for biology, 1 for business law. The business law is a midterm. I just did a quiz that was due on Monday for my philosophy class. I got a paper that I got to finish on Monday. I got a lot of stuff, or not on Monday, on Friday. I got a lot of stuff to do, you know, on next week. So might be a little hectic for me, but we're gonna get it done. You know, it's not like I'm you know, struggling for time right now. It's not like it's really gonna affect me. I think you guys will get to see how immaculate, or well, I shouldn't say immaculate. I think immaculate's a little egotistical even for me. But you guys will see how great I am at time management. See, you know, these at the end of the day, they don't take too long to record, because, you know, I'm just recording my lift. This is what I would do normally. So, you know, only extra piece to me recording this is setting up the camera and then compiling the clips. I mean, like I said, I am going to do editing in this video, but most of the time I'm just compiling the clips, lowering the volume of the video, and calling it a day. You know, maybe that makes me a pro editor. Probably not. You know, like I said, don't do a whole lot of editing to begin with. I really feel like I've just been ranting for this last time. I've ran out of a lot of things to say. You know, I think I bet all the things that I'm most worried about in terms of this content, I think, is just me saying what to say. I think I've said everything I've really wanted to say that I think is valuable. And now I'm just like, I'm like saying just either things that aren't important to either you guys or, you know, just stuff to say stuff, really. So, like I said at one point, please, you know, if you guys want me to give my thoughts on something, tell me about it. I'll shout you guys out, and I will, you know, give my 2 cents on the topic. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this last set. I feel like I've been going on for a little long now. How long is this? Yeah, this is a 17-minute clip. It's been the longest recorded set, I believe, and I haven't even done it completely yet. So yeah, I'm gonna finish this last one out, do my outro, and, you know, go from there. 72.5 pounds, like last time. If we get 10, we'll go up in weight next time. If not, we'll stick with this next time. All right. No. Whew. Okay. I'll be real. I was not counting that at all. So we'll probably stick with that next time. If I do 10 next time, then I'll go up. But that's the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you really enjoyed it. Give me some stuff you'd want me to hear about, either in my comments or any way you could contact me. You know, and if you want to contact me on other stuff or want to follow me on other stuff, there's a link tree in the description. Do your laundry. Love you guys, and I'll see you on Monday.